If you're struggling with chronic fatigue, Lyme disease, autoimmunity, or mysterious symptoms that doctors can't explain, you've probably heard 1,000 opinions about what's wrong with you. But here's the truth. Until you fix your gut, you're leaving your best results on the table.
Welcome to the Discover Health podcast, where we explore the power of gut health, nutrition, and lifestyle to help you feel your best every day. I'm Dr. Josh Sharp, your guide on this journey to better digestion, more energy, and overall well-being. Each week, we'll dive into expert insights, practical tips, and real-life strategies to help you discover health. Ready to start discovering? Let's hit the trail.
Welcome back to another episode of Discover Health Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Joshua Sharp, and today we are going to talk about something most people overlook, and that is prebiotics. Not probiotics, but prebiotics. And that is the food that feeds your gut bacteria and helps rebuild a healthier microbiome. If you want to heal from chronic illness, you need to understand how leaky gut develops, what causes it, and how prebiotics are one of the keys to repairing it. Authors like William Davis and Supergut remind us that modern life has stripped away many of the microbes that we need for resilience. Antibiotics, processed foods, glyphosate, and industrial toxins have weakened the microbiome. And in a book called Toxic by Dr. Neil Nathan, we see how mold, Lyme, and chemical exposures can overwhelm the body, especially if your gut barrier is already leaky. Those toxins have a straight path into your bloodstream and then wherever your blood goes from there. And that's when the immune system goes haywire, leading to widespread inflammation, food sensitivities, brain fog, and autoimmune flares. What exactly is leaky gut? Well, your gut lining is made up of only a single layer of cells, and those cells are held together by what's called tight junctions. And these are like the gates that decide what gets through your gut barrier into your bloodstream and what stays out. When everything is working well, nutrients can pass through that membrane, but toxins, pathogens, and large food particles are kept out. But when the gut is injured, those tight junctions loosen. And just imagine a brick wall being pulled apart, taking bricks out of that wall. And now harmful things can slip through into your bloodstream. Your immune system sees those things as invaders, and it launches an attack. And when this happens chronically, it activates the immune system and it drives inflammation. And that's one of the root causes of things like autoimmune disease. And in fact, almost every chronic illness is driven by chronic inflammation. Leaky gut doesn't happen overnight. It develops because of constant insults, such as things like infections, such as Lyme, co-infections, which damage the lining directly. It can also happen from things like mold toxins, heavy metals, which can erode that barrier. It can also happen from processed foods and sugar, which feed the wrong microbes, and then it promotes inflammation. And definitely it happens from medications like antibiotics, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and acid-blocking medications, which strip away protection. Chronic stress is also a factor here, and it can raise cortisol levels, which can actually weaken the gut lining. Over time, the barrier breaks down, and that's why symptoms show up everywhere, in the joints, in the skin, in the brain. Hormones are altered as well because the immune system is constantly on high alert, and those toxins that have escaped your gut are now coursing through your blood vessels all over your body. Here's where prebiotics come in. Prebiotics are fibers and plant compounds that feed your beneficial gut bacteria. When those bacteria eat prebiotics, they produce something called short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate. Butyrate is especially powerful because it fuels the cells of your gut lining, it strengthens those tight junctions, and it helps seal up a leaky gut. So instead of just calming symptoms, prebiotics actually help restore the barrier itself. I saw this firsthand with my wife, Ginger. As she worked on restoring her gut with the right foods and prebiotic support, we noticed something remarkable. Her skin began to clear up. The stubborn irritation that she dealt with for decades actually started to fade, and her skin started to really clear up. Her joint pain decreased, and she had more resilience to daily stressors. Things that used to completely drain her no longer actually had the same effect. It wasn't overnight, but as her gut healed, we saw clear evidence that her whole body was benefiting. And that's what happens when you repair the foundation. It's like a ripple effect outwards into every area of your health. This is why prebiotics are so critical for people with Lyme, chronic fatigue, or autoimmunity. In Lyme, leaky gut makes your immune system even more reactive, which can worsen things like fatigue and inflammation. In autoimmune conditions, leaky gut is recognized as a trigger. Your immune system attacks what slips through and then begins cross-reacting with your own tissues. There's a case of mistaken identity that's suspected that goes on there with autoimmunity. A particle slips out from your gut barrier. It might resemble one of your body proteins. Over time, as your immune system gets more and more familiar with this particle, it develops an antibody. Then the theory is that antibodies can be developed against your own tissue that resemble that protein as well. So every time that antibody is presented, your body not only attacks that actual protein molecule, but it can also attack your own tissue. For energy and mitochondria, those short-chain fatty acids lower inflammation and actually help your metabolism work more efficiently. So no matter which condition you're facing, repairing the gut is non-negotiable if you're looking to get your best results. So what are some food sources of prebiotics? You can begin with simple foods like onions, garlic, asparagus, leeks, Jerusalem artichoke. Things like green bananas, cooked and cooled potatoes or rice, beans, lentils, apples, and even oats. Then there's some polyphenol-rich foods like blueberries, green tea, and dark chocolate, which have also been shown to provide some prebiotic effects as well. Each of these foods feeds actually different beneficial microbes, and variety is the key here. Because your gut is an ecosystem, it's not a one-size-fits-all environment. We want a diverse spectrum of different bacterial species because they perform different roles and functions in the gut, and that in turn helps your whole entire body. Now, here's something that the research makes very clear. When people first start prebiotics, they can often experience some mild symptoms like bloating, gas, and those are really common. But here's the good news. This is actually temporary, and it's a sign that your body is reworking that microbiome. You're feeding good bacteria, and you're starting to strengthen their army. And so there's a little bit of a battle going on against some of the bad bacteria or other organisms that have taken root in your gut. So the bloating, the gas, it's not a sign of failure. It's actually a sign that your microbes are just adjusting to getting more of what they actually need. So a great way to deal with these effects is actually to start slowly. Increase slowly and give your body time to adjust as your microbiome adjusts its population levels. The bloating typically improves after, sometimes days, sometimes a couple weeks. And once your gut adapts, that's when you start to see the real benefits. Think of it like exercise. A little soreness happens at first, especially after the first couple times. It can be really significant, but the long-term payoff is improved strength and also resilience. Sometimes food isn't enough, especially if your gut has been compromised for years. That's where targeted prebiotic supplements can help rebuild microbial diversity and jumpstart short-chain fatty acid production. In my online store, I've curated some GI Restore bundles designed for different gut needs, whether that's soothing inflammation, feeding beneficial microbes, or repairing a damaged gut lining. And if I had to highlight just one product, I'd point to one of my favorites, and that is Intestinal Restore. It's designed to calm irritation, feed the right bacteria, and strengthen the gut lining at the same time. And we've used this product for years in practice, And it was one of those products that I never had to fight patients to take. Once they started taking it, they could pretty quickly, immediately experience some benefit. And I never had to ask them to continue. They did that on their own because they definitely noticed the positive benefits. So here's the bottom line. If you're battling chronic fatigue, Lyme, or autoimmunity, prebiotics are non-negotiable. They rebuild your gut foundation, repair leaky gut, and help calm the inflammation that can drive your symptoms. So if you're wondering whether Lyme could be behind your symptoms, I invite you to take my free quiz, Could It Be Lyme? It's quick, it's free, and it will give you a personalized score with some practical next steps. And if you're ready to start actively rebuilding your gut, I recommend that you check out the GI Restore bundles on my online store. These are carefully curated tools that have helpful resources to help restore balance, seal up leaky gut, and give your body a real foundation for healing. If you want lasting results, you cannot skip this step. Your recovery starts with your gut.
Thanks for listening to the Discover Health podcast.
We hope you learned something new that helps you feel your best from the inside out.
Next time, we're going to talk about gut cleansing, how to clear out unwanted guests like parasites and toxins,
and how herbs and natural remedies can help bring your gut back into balance.
Make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss it. Until next time,
keep discovering health.
Thanks for tuning in to the Discover Health podcast. Remember, your health is a journey, not a destination. Keep exploring, and we'll see you next week.